Hey guys, let's go. Another video I don't want to make, but I have to. Before I do though, let's talk about the channel for a couple of seconds. Yeah, been thinking about YouTubers. Yeah, people like me. I just realized what we are. We like performing seals. We make videos. Why do performing seals perform? They do it for food, don't they? For fish. Do you know why YouTubers do it? A multitude of reasons. Some do it for money, some as a stepping stone, some like me, ideological reasons. Yeah. But the food that feeds us is not fish, it's likes, subscribes, and comments. That is our food. If we don't get that food, we think, well, why the hell should I perform like a performing seal? Yeah. This channel needs likes, subscribes, and comments. Okay? I always wanted to be a lighthouse man. I think I'd have been good at one. I'm used to solitude, working on my own. Long hours in radio rooms, staring at dials. Long hours in hotels in all parts of the world when I'm IT contracting. Yeah. Long hours alone, driving the motorways of this country. Used to being on my own. Quite nice. You'd have to have internet, of course, but there you go. Anyhow, what are we going to be talking about? Reluctantly, Israel. I got 3 video clips to show you. First, I have to talk to you about Tommy Robinson in America. I won't bother showing you the clip, you can see it elsewhere. I'm surprised how many British patriots are still fooled by this man. I'm beginning to feel a bit sorry for Tommy. He looked a bit of a mess in the talk he was given. He said he'd been working for 36 hours with some new friends. I can guess what part of the world they are from. But he also said he'd been out the night before and had a bit of a blast at a rather exclusive hotel with his new friends. Yeah. I wonder if Tommy really knows that he's just being used. Is he complicit or ignorant? I don't really know. I don't know the man, so I can't judge him. All I can say about him is one thing. If he has family, they should get him home and take him away into the country somewhere, find a farmhouse, put him in it, and lock the door, and let him straighten himself out mentally, because he looks like a man on the verge of a nervous breakdown. He really does. I don't know if he has family to do that for him. What he said actually was pretty good. He was working on Sharia law, the threat of it, Islamism, the dangers, but it's all stuff we already know. And then he had to work it in, didn't he? Anti-Semitism. And there we were. It was at that point I switched off. I thought, oh, Tommy, I, I can barely look at your face these days or listen to his voice. That man is on the verge of his nervous breakdown, I tell you. Okay, let's go watch something about Israel. I've got 3 good clips for you. You're going to like them. Well, no, you're not. Not if you're a fan of Israel and war and Zionism. You're not going to like them. Bang, they got some more subscribers. Good. Back off if you're a Zionist. I really don't care. Right.
People that brought you the war in Iraq, which killed over 1 million people, are now bringing you the war against Iran. The Make America Great Again supporters should be scratching their heads.
They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
Donald Trump went to Saudi Arabia and said he was not a neocon, that he did not believe in remaking the region in America's image.
This great transformation has not come from Western intervention or neocons. The so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves.
The neocons had free reign in the 2000s under George Bush. What's happening now under Trump is the same forces are seeking to remake the region.
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever.
The same night Israel struck Iran, Donald Trump took to his social media account and stated that he is still committed to a diplomatic resolution with Iran. That was part of a long trajectory of feints by the Trump administration to try and lull Iran and the rest of us into a false sense of security. Or is he being controlled? Donald Trump will repeat the mantra,
America first. America first. America first.
but when you look down his list of funders, it seems like it might just be Israel first. One of Trump's largest funders, giving him $100 million, is Miriam Adelson, the widow of Sheldon Adelson. Sheldon Adelson bankrolled Donald Trump's first election as president of the United States. Sheldon Adelson very publicly supported the use of nuclear weapons against Iran.
You pick up your cell phone and you call somewhere in Nebraska and you say, okay, let it go. So there's an atomic weapon goes over ballistic missiles in the middle of the desert that doesn't hurt a soul. Maybe a couple of rattlesnakes and scorpions or whatever. And then you say, see, the next one is in the middle of Tehran.
The media and Israel's assets in the US government, like Lindsey Graham, try and convince us.
I would urge President Trump to go all in to make sure that when this operation is over, there's nothing left standing in Iran regarding their nuclear program. If that means providing bombs, provide bombs, whatever bombs. If it means flying with Israel, fly with Israel.
It's not just Palestine that's occupied, it's the entire US Senate. Steve Witkoff, the US envoy to the Middle East, supposedly responsible for negotiating peace, was recently awarded in the presence of Trump's top funder, Miriam Adelson, by Eli Beer, a key individual responsible for lies about October 7th.
I saw in my own eyes a woman 4 months pregnant. They came into her house in front of her kids. They opened up her stomach, took out the baby and stabbed the little tiny baby in front of her and then shot her in front of her family. I saw little kids who were beheaded. We didn't know which head belongs to which kid. We saw a little baby in an oven. They put him in, these bastards put these babies in an oven and put on the oven.
Witkoff stated that Donald Trump was such a supporter of Zionist ambitions in the region that he could actually be Prime Minister of Israel.
He's an incredible friend to the Jewish people. No disrespect to Prime Minister Netanyahu. I think the President, Trump, could be the first sitting president who could also be the Prime Minister of Israel at the same time.
And that
Okay, guys, I don't know, I might have mucked the sound at the end of that last clip, but there we go. Past caring. Let's see what Scott Ritter has to say.
Out of inspections, it was, we're shutting the door and the door will permanently shut. And Iran was willing to do that. So this was a war of choice. So whose choice? Why are we at war? And again, it has nothing to do with the United States. It has everything to do with Israel, and more particularly about Benjamin Netanyahu and his little circle of greater Israel Zionists who are seeking a greater Israel, seeking to turn Israel into a global superpower that dominates the region, dominates their neighbors, and is firmly backed by the United States. Iran was the biggest impediment to this dream. Iran, of course, is the backbone to what's called the axis of resistance, that is Hamas, Hezbollah, Ansarallah, the militias in Syria, all legitimate groups who are opposing, for instance, Hezbollah. Why do they exist? I don't know. Israel is illegally occupying Lebanese territory. Gosh, if we had people illegally occupying American territory, I would certainly hope that patriotic Americans would form up resistance groups, especially if our government had stopped resisting, and take matters in their own hands and evict the foreigner, which is what Hezbollah does. Hamas. I mean, their biggest crime is wanting an independent Palestine. In Ansarallah, their biggest crime is supporting the Palestinians wanting an independent Palestine. In Iran, their biggest crime is supporting all of these causes, and providing the moral authority, the financial support, and in some cases, the intelligence and military support to put muscle behind theory. Israel resents this. Israel wants an impediment-free pathway to greater Israel. And what is greater Israel? Well, now, thanks to Mike Huckabee, the American ambassador to Israel, we know greater Israel means Israel is going to steal the land of all of its neighbors. That is what greater Israel is, and that's their ambition. And we see playing out live on TV. So this is a war that was started by Israel, for Israel, on behalf of Israel, to serve Israeli interests. It doesn't serve American interests whatsoever. And so we need to understand that everything I'm about to say is not because we have failed trying to protect America. It's because we have failed trying to promote greater Israel.
I'm really mucking up this sound today, guys. I really am. I'll let it go. Let's leave it to President Trump to have the last word. Okay then, President Trump, let's hear what you've got.
The strongest lobby in Washington was the Jewish lobby. It was Israel. That's no longer true. You have to be very careful. My father would tell me the most powerful lobby that there is in this country is the Jewish lobby. It's the Israeli lobby. It's not that way anymore. You have a lot of people in your way. You have a lot of people that don't want to help Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that don't like Israel. And if you would have told me 15 years ago that that was possible, Jason, I would have said there's no way. There's no way that's possible. But it's happening. And obviously it's getting progressively worse.
I think Emil Cosman summed it up best. They didn't know when to keep their mouths shut and just take the money and live off the fat of the land. They had to let everyone know how much they controlled it, that they were the real rulers of America, and saw themselves as the future leaders of the world. Anyhow, I'm quite happy the truth about Israel's finally coming out. Yeah, been waiting decades for this. Decades. I don't know if it's worth sticking around to see if there's any more.